I want us to know there is something coming. There's something coming, and I want all of us to be prepared on that day. Matthew 10:42 tees this up well for us. Jesus says to us, if you give even a cup of cold water to one of the least of my followers, you will surely be rewarded. If you will give a cup of cold water to the least of my followers, you will surely be rewarded. What in the world is he talking about? Well, we know that we are not rewarded with the gift of eternal life, salvation. Eternity with God. That is not a reward any of us have because we can't earn it, we don't deserve it. It is a free gift of grace that all of us have received. And there's not one person who's received more gift of eternal life than another one. It's just one thing. It is a gift of eternal life with God. And that is completely by the grace and the mercy of God. But Jesus is talking about something else. He distinctly uses the word rewarded. In fact, in the New Testament, the word rewarded is used 34 times. But it's talked about even more than that. In fact, we're going to look at a parable today. It doesn't even use the word rewarded, but that's exactly what it's talking about. And so we know that this idea of the reward is there, but how are we supposed to think about it? What are we supposed to make of it? What I love about this verse is that it says, if you will give a cup of cold water in my name to the least of my followers. Now I want you to think about that verse. He says, the least of my followers. These are people who agree with me, who want what I want. We worship together. And he says, when you give that person who you're friendly with a cup of cold water, I will reward that if you do it in my name. If you do it to serve them in my name, if you do that to give your time and your talent to love them, I'll reward that. That is the easiest person in the world for you and I to serve. The person who has no conflict with us, they're with us in what we all want. We're all traveling together. You give a cup of cold water, then I want you to know, even that I will reward. How much more would God reward the person who doesn't agree with you? Who doesn't like you? You know, that person at work, maybe that neighbor that somehow you ticked off, but you still can't figure it out. Well, that person in your life that just keeps coming at you, and you think, man, I really don't want to serve them right now. I like to throw the water in their face. I mean, you wouldn't do that. It's just something I might have thought about. He says, hey, I will reward it if you give a cup of cold water to somebody you agree with. But wow, so much more if you give it to somebody who doesn't agree with you. That you would actually show them that you're different than everybody else. That a follower of Jesus acts and responds differently to conflict and to these life situations in a different way. So what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Well, the scriptures give us a great window, and here's what I want us to get. There is going to be a day that you and I will look Jesus in the eye. But listen, he won't be looking anybody else in the eye. He's just going to be looking you. It's just going to be you and him. That's it. I mean, you're going to be surrounded by billions of people, but it's going to be a conversation you and Jesus are going to have. And it's going to be in that moment that he will be looking for a way to reward your life. And he says, I want to reward you. I want to give you rewards in eternity. The foundation is already laid. I gave that to you by grace, mercy. You didn't deserve it. You didn't earn it. You're not being rewarded with salvation or eternal life. I've given that to you as a foundation, but I want to build on that. I don't want a house that's just a foundation. I want a house that has all kinds of structure, reward to it. I want to give those to you that you would enjoy throughout eternity. I want to do that. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 12 through 15 tells us about this moment. Paul is helping the church at Corinth to think about this. And it says, anyone who builds on that foundation, meaning Jesus, grace, mercy, don't earn it, don't deserve it, ask for forgiveness, I receive it. and I follow Jesus with the rest of my life, that's what I want to do. I've made that commitment to be a Christian. He says that's the foundation, but you can build on that foundation with a variety of materials. And he said you can do it with gold, you can do it with silver, with jewels. Now, of course, these are metaphors that he uses to describe the rewards. He said, or you can build with wood, with hay, or with straw. But on the judgment day, fire will reveal what kind of work each builder has done. That builder is you. That builder is me. Person 3 rows back, the person in the corner, the person that was sitting in your seat in the previous services. The fire will show if a person's work has any value. Did how I spend my life have any value, not to me, but to the kingdom, to eternity? And he says, if the work survives, the builder will receive a reward. But if the work is burned up, then the builder will suffer great loss. And that loss is a potential loss. You could have done all of this, but you didn't. Somehow we're going to know the loss. Somehow we're going to understand the gap of where I actually am and where it could have been. And so I'm going to understand that. It's going to be a loss to me. I'll experience it as a loss. I am still in eternal life following Christ, but I will experience that loss. I'll understand it. And he says, but if the work is burned up, the builder will suffer great loss. The builder will be saved, but like someone barely escaping through a wall of flames. So in other words, I want to reward you. I'm going to look you in the eye. We're going to talk about the life that you lived, the whole life that you had. And all that I gave you is resources with that life in order to live it well. We're going to talk about how you stewarded those resources. Revelation 22, some of the last words that Jesus said to us. This is what he says in Revelation 22:12. Look, I am coming soon, bringing my reward with me. And I will repay all people according to their deeds. Not salvation, but a reward in eternity for a life well lived. And so this moment's going to come, and I want us to be there. And I am telling you, literally, when you are looking Jesus in the eye, I want everybody in this place to say to themselves, oh, I remember this. Craig, talk about it. Craig talked about this, St. Patrick's Day 2019. Oh, I remember. I've been looking forward to it. I knew the day was coming, and I am prepared for this moment. Come on, Jesus, let's have the talk. That's what I want. That's what I want. I don't want anybody saying, what's going on? I've never heard of this. I just thought we all kind of got in and found our cloud and floated around. What's this building stuff? What's going on with that person? I don't want that. I'm telling you, literally there's going to moment. And listen, here's what I want. I'm really, really hoping that I'm going to somehow be there near you and I'll be able to go. Seriously, look for me. I'm going to try it. Every one of you, I'm going to try it. And he's going to hold me responsible for having said these things or not. He will. He will. And it's my joy to share them.